Welcome to a double episode of the £5 video game challenge, and I say double episode because we're actually going to combine a PlayStation 4 hunt with this, but it was recommended from my good subscribers, you guys, that I make the PS4 side of it a £10 challenge. So in this video we're going to be trying to buy as many video games as possible for £5, and we're going to do the exact same for the PlayStation 4, and here I am in Mansfield CEX. So sit back, enjoy this episode, and make sure you guys get comfy and watch the entire thing. Let's go. So you guys can already see a couple of games in my hand, and that's because I did buy some things that were exclusive from this challenge, and I now have enough across the last couple of weeks really to show you guys a new gaming pickups video. So that will drop on Friday. Now I was very surprised with the PS4 stock in here because there was lots of it, and I believe I could have got 2 games for £10. You know, this was a difficult one with the PS4 side of this challenge. Very difficult. But I'm glad I did it, and I'd like to be kind of bringing this in again, and maybe we'll do more double episodes in the future. Now, I'm saying to Jess here, Knack. I don't own a copy of Knack. It was a launch title with the PS4, and before the PS4 came out, we were invited down to an early preview. It was actually in our local game, which is unfortunately now closed, and they were demoing Knack. Now, I remember playing it back then, and I wasn't really blown away, you know. We weren't quite into the PS4 and Xbox One generation, and I was expecting big things, and unfortunately, Knack didn't deliver for me, and I can't seem to separate that kind of mediocre experience really with kind of buying the game again. So I'm putting it out there to you good people really. Jess said don't buy it because it's absolutely terrible. I wasn't overly keen, but is Knack worth picking up? Now, we've also got some Devil May Cry stuff here, just kind of checking it out. Never been like a huge Devil May Cry fan, but, you know, there are games like Devil May Cry 3 that I really enjoyed. Absolutely loved the hell out of Devil May Cry 3. So in this store as well, we're kind of going to switch now. We're going to go and take a look at PSP, and for me, This store was one of the strongest stores both me and Jess had ever seen for PSP games. If you are in the East Midlands area and you're anywhere near Mansfield, definitely check out this CX because it was packed full of games, and it was really clean and tidy as far as CX standard goes, because let's face it guys, we've all been in our local CX and they just tend to be just an absolute shithole of a mess, and they smell like shit as well. But this was actually quite clean, so I'm kind of scoping through here. We've got a copy of Myst at £4. We picked up some stuff that I've never even seen, which hopefully you'll kind of pick out and be able to spot in this video. Jess actually she wasn't in the store at this point, and she came in and she's like, whoa, check out all these PSP games, because typically in CEX you'll see maybe kind of 2 dozen, maybe, you know, if that, 1 dozen to 2 dozen PSP games, which it gets a little bit boring if I'm absolutely honest, because it's the same titles over and over again. But check this out, Ghouls and Ghosts on the PSP for a smacking £10. Not too shabby dabby at all. I've actually never seen that knocking around for the PSP, and I'll be honest with you guys, didn't even know it existed, but it certainly does. So let's continue. Keep your eyes on the screen guys, because you don't want to miss any of these awesome games. So we ain't done on PSP, because I actually clocked some down here. We got this beautiful limited edition Gran Turismo on PSP with this gorgeous slipcase for £4, and there was another copy of Gran Turismo in here without the slipcase for £4. So kind of didn't really matter if it was limited edition or not. The price was still the same, so that was actually pretty rad. You may have also clocked there in the top left some Vita games. I did buy Jess Call of Duty on the Vita because she loves COD, and she really wants to get back into playing a Vita, so I picked that up. And I'm proud to say, well, not proud to say, I'm happy to say that there were still people online playing it. So nice one, Jess. Hope you can continue to get into that on your Vita, because it's a great system. Now, PS2, Again, I've mentioned it in the past couple of episodes. I'm like, since the £5 game challenge I did in Cash Converters, where I bought the entire store's worth of PS2 games, I haven't massively been bothered about finding PS2 games. I'm probably just going to go for the quality titles on the PS2 now rather than quantity. So there's still a couple of horror games that I'm going to be getting, and now I'll be able to stream from the PS2 as well, because I've bought a little box and it will kind of run my HDMI into my Elgato from my PS2. So we will be streaming some OG hardware, PS2 styley. I'm just going to pick out some really cool titles. Again, lots of horror streams to come from the PS2, so make sure you guys subscribe if you're a horror fan. So here's the lovely Jess, clocking something. It was fuel on the PS3. She has a very good eye for these things when we do go out and about. And I owe Jess a lot of credit for finding a lot of the stuff that we found at Car Boots over the past couple of years, because if anybody knows me, I'm very impatient and I tend to miss a lot of things. So it's good to have Jess here as a second pair of eyes and ears when it comes around to the £5 game challenge. Now, in terms of your cartridge-based retro stuff, not a lot of stuff in, but I did manage to pick up some nice things that were stored behind the counter. I'm not going to tell you guys what they are because I do want to save that, like I said, for Friday's retro game pickup. So I'm excited to kind of deliver what games I've picked up for the Lady Lounge, and I'm excited as well because now I can stream, like I said, from any retro console. It's just going to open things up, not just for me, but for you guys as viewers as well. Now, Prey on the PS4, this was only a £5, but I had it, so I put it back down, but I thought it was worth showing because I want you guys to get the most out of this as well. And I'm kind of grateful for all the feedback that I get, saying, you know, I didn't know this was this cheap, and thank you very much. I went into CX and I picked it up thanks to your video. And also, it's been amazing that you guys have been tagging me on Twitter. My Twitter is @JuicyGameReview. It's in the description, to say that you and your kids have been tackling the £5 game challenge as well. So this thing really does seem to be kind of catching on. Make sure you guys keep doing that. I'm really intrigued to see exactly what you've picked up. It's a great challenge, and again, it proves you don't have to spend hundreds of pounds to have some good fun with some games. Let's take a moment to talk about the Just Cause series, because it's a series that I've not really had much of an urge to play, and that's not like me. I like to really play everything so I can formulate an opinion on a video game as to whether I like it, I'm neutral, or I absolutely despise it. So I'll kind of play it even if I'm not overly interested, but for some reason with Just Cause I've just struggled, and it's one that I've never really had a yearning to play, even to say that I don't like it. So I don't really have much of an opinion on it. And I know there was one of the Just Cause games that was free for PlayStation Plus players recently, but I, again, didn't really bother with it. You couldn't even give it away to me, which I found quite odd. So I was kind of hoping that somebody could maybe persuade me on what that you like about it, and am I missing out on anything, and is there any of the game series that you would compare it to? Because maybe if I had a bit of a benchmark, maybe I could kind of look at it that way. But we kind of spin around, and we're kind of taking a look here at the Xbox 360 games. Again, lovely variation. Nice to see some titles that you don't typically see in CEX, and that's why I love coming to the Mansfield store. Believe it or not, this is only the second episode of the £5 game challenge that I filmed in here, but when I do come here, it's kind of special because, like I said, there's just like a ton of stock. And I'll say this, shout out to the Mansfield CEX staff because they're so friendly and willing to help, and the guy that showed me all the retro stock on the computer, massive shout out to you. Because there was a ton in the back, and that's why it goes to show, guys, make sure you always ask what they've got in the back. Moving swiftly on to the original Xbox, what a console. And I'll say this, there was again a huge library. You've kind of gone from sometimes, maybe less than 10 original Xbox games in a CEX store to shelf after shelf after shelf in the Mansfield store. And I don't know if this is one of the flagship stores. I don't know if this is one they're really focusing on, but even compared to when I last came in, it just seemed like tenfold of getting the stuff in. And that for me as a gamer fills me with hope, because it can get a little bit not boring, but disappointing when you go into a CEX. It's like, oh yeah, there's only 3 GameCube games, or yeah, there's only like 10 original Xbox games, and it's all the same stuff. So it's nice to feel different. It's nice to kind of see different stuff as well. Now I'm swinging back to the OG, the Xbox 360 again. I actually will show you guys what I picked up for £5, and I will show you what I picked up for £10 on the PlayStation 4. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the end of this video because it is a double episode, and I'm excited because I think I actually found as well a hidden gem PS4 game, which I bought independently of this challenge, but I've since really looked into it and I've put it out on social media, and a lot of you guys have given tremendous feedback. And if you like your top-down Zelda-esque kind of games, or maybe things like Stardew Valley, I think this one might be for you. So we're going to be taking a look at that in more depth in Friday's episode. Let's shift the focus now to some PlayStation 3. Out of the entire kind of genre of console in here, the PlayStation 3 games didn't have much that jumped out to me. Nothing much appealed to me. Everything that did appeal to me I already own, and they even had some of the Game of the Year Oblivion versions in. So if you're an Oblivion fan or even a Skyrim fan, definitely check out CEX. You can snag a copy of Oblivion with all the DLC for £5, which I thought was actually a bargain. I own all the kind of different variants of Oblivion as it's one of my favourite Elder Scrolls games. I'm praying that we actually get a HD remaster of Oblivion. There's still a huge fan base for that game, and it just surprises me that so much focus has been on Skyrim since 2011, and we seem to have kind of completely neglected Oblivion and its just sheer influence that game had, not just on me as a player, but on the Elder Scrolls community fan base. So if you'd like to see that, let me know why, because I want to hear your Oblivion stories too. Now we're kind of coming back, pure pool. I'm guilty of this. I love a good pool game. And I don't even like playing pool. I don't watch it. I don't like snooker. But I really enjoy like mobile pool games. So that intrigued me. I didn't pick it up though. So there's a little spoiler. I didn't pick it up. But yeah, it's certainly one that I would consider for the future. Dropping down to the bottom shelf, we got a couple of copies of various Wolfenstein releases here. Witcher, that seems to have held its value. Witcher 3, depending on which variant you get, it still does hold its value, and I think it holds its value the most on the Nintendo Switch, because secondhand The Witcher 3 goes for about £40 even second hand. So, you know, fair play. I think there's been some great news from CD Projekt Red that company is now being valued at like $6 billion or something like that. So, and they really deserve it, because they really treat, I think CD Projekt Red treat fans with respect. You know, there was a lot of free DLC that came with The Witcher 3, and as much as Cyberpunk 2077 has been pushed back, I'm still holding out for big things with that game, no matter what platform you play on. So let's go, CD Projekt Red. Now, one thing I didn't show you guys in this video was the Xbox One game. So perhaps I could do an Xbox One version of this. Again, very different games are across PS4 and Xbox One. Maybe I'd be able to get more games for £10. I don't know. It's something that I'm seriously considering, but I think it'd be very difficult to do a £5 game challenge with the current generation. So we'll see. I think £10 will stick it at that for now, but with anything under the current generation, it's always going to be a £5 game challenge. Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4 gracing the shelves there, and even a sneaky copy of Battlefield 5, which is probably my favourite Battlefield of these last couple of years. So that was cool, and they've actually dropped in price significantly. I don't know what's to come from the Battlefield camp. I haven't heard much. Maybe you guys have, but I just haven't. But I'll be intrigued to see how Call of Duty's, I guess, main rival is going to fare going into the next generation. It's all very exciting. There's lots to come from, I think, the Xbox and PS4 camps when it comes to the future consoles. And I know we've had a lot of news this week on the new specifications of the X series for the Xbox. So I'm really excited. 2020 is going to be a great year. It's going to be a great year for this channel, and it's going to be a great year for gaming. So if you're new here, guys, I would ask graciously that you hit that subscribe button, you stay subscribed, and you share as many videos as you possibly can. I've had some wonderful feedback, and I'm really looking forward to upcoming content. But enough of my ramblings for now, because you guys want to just catch the last minute of this video before I show you exactly what I picked up for £5 and for £10. See you in the next one.